Does the power of the Chaos Gods extend to other galaxies? The Chaos Gods in 40k are the dominant powers within the warp. They shape the lives of mortals within the 40k verse to give them power by their actions. You might spill blood for khorne, spill puss for nurgle, plot and scheme for tzeentch, and give in to your base desires of excess, shop hard for slaanesh. And within the warp, they are made from the collective emotions of mortals, each coming together from the soul's energy there, which comes together like that because it's like for like, one type of emotion attracts another. But what are the bounds of that power? How far does it stretch? Does the warp reach out and touch other galaxies, or is it just within the 40k universe, or the 40k galaxy should I say? Do the bounds of the Chaos Gods push through to other galaxies? Yes, they do. So let's explore that idea and back it up with some lore evidence. Welcome friends to another 40k video, and let's begin. There are actually a ton of references to that power going beyond the bound of the 40k galaxy. We have ones that invoke each of the Chaos Gods. The Chaos Knights Codex tells us, the Chaos Gods are vast entities, whose gaze spans all of time and space, and to catch their fleeting regard for even an instant requires deeds so ghastly that they will stain their perpetrator's soul forevermore. To be more specific, for an example, it's said of Nurgle, though he is the creator of every infection and epidemic to have ever afflicted the universe, Nurgle is not a morose purveyor of death and suffering, but a vibrant god of life and laughter. Or tzeentch. In his mind, he listens to the hopes of every sentient being from every planet in the universe. He watches over the plans of his playthings as they unfold into history, toying with fate and fortune for both his own entertainment and to further his unfathomable schemes. And it's just not a codex thing. The Eldari know this truth too. One Eldari says, "We should depart this star wheel and begin anew elsewhere." The other responds, "No. Even were that possible, and we are not assured that it is, then what? The primordial annihilator knows no limits. Time and space mean nothing in the other sea. If we travel to another star wheel, we will take our demons with us. She who thirsts will be waiting wherever we go. Our fate is here, with this place, for good or ill. Many fates are possible. If we guide them wisely, we shall prevail." Linking into that, there is also a small excerpt that the webway once went to other galaxies. Maybe that could have been a place to escape for the last of the old ones who created the Eldari. Anyway, that's a side tangent. The demons are aware of this truth as well. After his temporary death, we see this with Commander in the devastation of Baal. Commander fell forever, and for no time at all, until a wave of change rippled out through the multi-dimensional space he infected, upsetting the delicate workings of infinite, interleaved universes, and with that in mind also other realities, or perhaps it's better to say other universes. The realms of chaos is a mystical place that spans all of existence, stretching across dimensions and time. Sometimes it's called the realms of chaos, sometimes the warp, imperium, immaterium, formless wastes, land of lost souls, or simply the abyss. It's all pretty much the same thing. I believe some of those names are from the old Warhammer fantasy, maybe some apply to Sigmar too. You might have to tell me which ones are from that place. So this gives us some interesting in-world implications for those within the 40k verse, for the factions we know and love. One of the first races I wanted to discuss under that spotlight is the Tyranids. We know within the warp they have a hive mind, a collective consciousness of will that can block out the astropaths of the Imperium, and we know they came from another galaxy. The condition that was left in, we can only speculate on, but if they have moved on from that carcass to a new one, there might not be much life left there. The lore discussed means that the Lords of Chaos were also there, and we know the hive mind has great power within the warp, so that means that Chaos was defeated there perhaps. We can't really know, but it does explain how, if the warp wasn't in their universe, how they suddenly came to the 40k verse and were suddenly under its rules and generate a hive mind. That's not the case, because it was always there, a collective will driving it through the dark and cold between galaxies and into 40k. Now we know the Eldari are aware and so seek to stay in 40k, as if leaving was an option. It will not stop Slaanesh coming after them. Which brings us to the Necrons. Now we know the Silent King has been out of the galaxy, and has come back into it and woken his dozing empire to fight the Tyranids. So it would make sense he'd know there are other galaxies, not just about the warp, and that it can also go there. So creating a prior nexus, a place where chaos cannot touch due to the null field projected there, is actually a great idea. It's almost a play on the webway, which as I understand it, it sits between the materium and the immaterium and holds out the warp. So the only way to escape chaos, and this was even for a time the plan of the Emperor, to shelter humanity within the webway and nurture humanity as a psychic race, all those ideas are similar to cut off or shelter from the warp, which if the chaos gods are everywhere, is the only way to really escape them. Now, this also brings up this question. If the chaos gods are within every galaxy, is their power shared between all aspects of them, i.e. power from the Tyranids galaxy might empower the chaos gods within the Imperium, or is each chaos god a shard of the larger creature and associated with only a particular galaxy, but they are unable to call on the power from other galaxies? It's something we don't know the answer to, but it would be the only way really that someone could win within the setting against chaos. Otherwise, they draw on power from other places and can never be beaten. Or maybe that's the point. Chaos will win, but you keep fighting, try to keep your race alive for as long as possible. It's a matter of survival for as long as you can manage it. We get a hint at this law between the different chaos gods in Dead Sky, Black Sun. Awful knowledge flooded through Uriel. As he stared into the portal opened in the fabric of the universe, he saw galaxies of billions upon billions of souls harvested and fed to the Lord of Skulls, the blood god. Emperor's mercy, wept Uriel as he felt much of these deaths lodge like a splinter in his heart. New life and new purpose had once filled these galaxies, but now all was death, slaughter to sate the hunger of the blood god. So we know at least Khorne has wiped some out, and that those who serve him are aware of other aspects of the god, if not his power. Another idea that occurred to me is, we know that Slaanesh was birthed with the fall of the Eldari into depravity, but is now present in all galaxies. So, following that, could some of the other chaos gods have been birthed by actions from beings in other galaxies? An interesting idea, at least. So, those are some of the consequences of what I think this knowledge could mean. What do you think to what we have discussed here? Does the idea intrigue you? I do like the idea, but so much is always going on within the 40k galaxy and is never followed upon later. So I feel there are always things I'd rather they show. How will Leviathan, the tendril of the Tyranids, be defeated, if it will be? Will we ever get to see the meeting between the lion and his brother Gilliman, etc.? And if you like this video in 40k, then why not try this one? And if you want a bunch of videos in 40k, there are two playlists on the channel. One covers everything and it's in the hundreds at this point. The other covers a special subject to my heart, the dark age of technology, which I'm very fond of. I also cover Trench Crusade fairly regularly. It shares a lot of real world DNA with 40k. I'm putting out less of them at the moment because I've covered most of the lore and really dissected it as much as I feel I can at this point. So I'm covering the new lore as it comes out, springboarding off that new lore onto any ideas that excite me. And hopefully when we get the rulebook, there'll be some new lore in there that I can get access to and discuss. I also cover Dune on the channel when I have time. Hopefully get back to that soon. I have also covered in the past two fairly well-known book series that I'm very happy to discuss on the channel and that are close to my heart, to be honest. The Sun Eater series by Christopher Rocchio and Red Rising by Pierce Brown. And that's where I round out the video.